Hey guys, I'm sharing a quick video today on how to fix drawing faces. I'll be sharing some things to kind of keep in mind when you're drawing the face, and also some digital tools that I use to fix any mistakes that I might make without drawing things 500 times. A lot of times if your face looks wonky but you're not really sure why, it's probably because the measurements of the face are off. And every face is going to be different, of course, but there's some basic guidelines that apply to pretty much every face that we can kind of keep in mind when we're drawing to make sure that our faces still look anatomically correct. So I'm going to go over these guidelines, but I'm also going to show you how to fix any mistakes you might make while you're drawing so that you don't have to redraw the same thing 500 times. So let's talk about these guidelines for the face first. I'm going to start with the eyes. So when the face is looking straight ahead at the viewer like this, you want to make sure that the eyes are the same width, and also that the distance between the eyes is that same width. So in other words, the distance between the eyes should be an eye length apart. And that's what you can kind of see me showing here with these red lines. All three of the distances are the same length. So another thing to keep in mind is that you want to make sure the corners of the eyes sit on the same line. So if one eye is a little bit like higher up than the other one, it's going to look off. So even when the character's face is tilted, the corners of the eyes should still line up. So another measurement to watch out for is the ears. So when you're placing the ears on the head, the top of the ear is typically in line with the eyes, and the bottom of the ear should line up with the bottom of the nose. It's okay if they don't line up exactly, because again, every face is going to be different, but they should kind of fall somewhere in this general area. And next we're going to look at the bottom third of the face. You kind of want the nostrils to line up with the corners of the eyes. And again, the nose should also fall in line with the bottom of the ears. The corners of the mouth are also going to kind of line up with the nostrils, unless they're like smiling or something, obviously. And yeah, so for the neckline, I tend to draw my necks a little bit more slender. That's just kind of my style, but you want to make sure that you're not drawing the neck like way out here or something, unless it's just you're drawing somebody like super buff with a ridiculously large neck. But in general, you want to kind of make sure that the neckline kind of falls in line somewhere with the eyes. Okay, so we've kind of talked about the basic measurements of the face, but what do you do if you draw something and it doesn't really meet these guidelines? So there's a few tools that you can use that are really going to save you so much time and headache and heartache, and keep you from having to draw everything a million times. So because honestly, drawing the face straight ahead like this is probably the most difficult way to draw the face, because everything kind of needs to look symmetrical or it's going to look wonky immediately. So the first tip that I want to share with you is to flip your canvas. I am telling you, it makes so much easier to see where the problem is when you flip your canvas. Basically, the reason for this is when you're drawing, your eyes tend to kind of get used to how your drawing is looking, so it's harder for you to see any mistakes that you might be making. But when you flip your canvas, your eyes aren't adjusted to that, so they can easily see any like little mistakes or things that are not correct and be able to fix it. Okay, so you've been flipping your canvas and you can see some mistakes, so what do you do now? I have a couple of tools that I love to use and that really help. So one tool you can use is the liquefy tool. This thing is a lifesaver. It basically allows you to push and pull things on your canvas. So if the corners of the eyes don't quite line up, you can use the liquefy tool to push or pull them so that they fall on the same line. Another tool that I love to use is the lasso tool. So with the lasso tool, you can select the area that you want to move and just move that small area. I really like using the lasso tool for the distort feature too. So it's kind of hard to explain, but the distort basically allows you to transform the selection that you've made. And so I really like to use this if I've drawn something that I like, but it feels like I drew it slanted or something, like I can use the distort tool to fix it. Hard to explain, but it's really helpful. I highly recommend using it. I do also want to share a tool that I don't really use that often, to be honest, but I do think it could be helpful in drawing the face for some people, and that is using the drawing assist feature in Procreate, where you can turn on symmetry, and it'll basically give you perfect symmetry, obviously. So there'll be a vertical line, and any line that you draw on one side, it'll do perfectly on the other side as well. And I personally don't really use this that often, but I do think it could be helpful, especially if you're drawing the face head on like this. For me personally, I just feel like it makes it look a little too perfect, and it just doesn't really match my style as much. But I did just want to mention it just in case if you want to give it a try. I do think it can be really helpful, especially for like the eyes, for example, where you want them to look the exact same ideally. So yeah, I just thought I would throw that out there and mention it. So I'll be sharing a more in-depth tutorial soon, showing how to draw the face from different angles, and I'll be talking about things like how to put the eyes in perspective and things like that. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.